if he spends 7 consecutive days preparing his starters to play, they will play. Like, I think for especially, even if they're eliminated, there are some other teams that will prepare to start and get locked in, which maybe could change the calculus for them. Chargers are this team we'll talk about later. But I do think even if they're eliminated an hour before kickoff, maybe they're a tiny bit lighter with their injury. Someone sprains an ankle and gets pulled safely as possible. But I don't think there's any way we don't see starters for full 4 quarters just because of the style of this team. And there's still a decent chance they are indeed playing for a playoff spot.
Yeah, and I think even if the Seahawks win, that they want to put an exclamation point on what has been like their turnaround season, their comeback season, especially doing so by beating the Packers in Green Bay. Kind of like
knocking them out of the playoffs would be like a very triumphant moment, even if it's not to make their own playoffs.
I guess a very boomer point, but like sending a message heading into 2023, like this is not the same old Lions. So Denny, the total is currently under 50 still, but it's one of the week's highest totals. Is this game going to the moon? Was my question to you.
Yeah. So the point total is going up since Monday. But I kind of think this profiles as a potential slog, and I take no pleasure in saying that. I'm
going to look up the weather in Green Bay while you're talking too.
Yeah, so last time these teams played was 15-9. Lions won in the Dome.
That was a weird game. The Packers had like a bunch of like failed goal line drives. That was a really weird game.
You're right. I think Rodgers threw his first 2 red zone picks since like 2008 or something.
Yeah, it was something crazy like that.
Detroit ran 31 times in that game. Packers are still really being gashed on the ground. Obviously, last week was different because the Vikings were just destroyed from the start and had no chance to do anything.
But it wasn't Kirk Cousins' fault, according to the people tweeting at us.
Here are people who don't take any blame. Kirk Cousins, Justin Jefferson, the entire Vikings offense, every Vikings coach, the water boy, the guy who dries the towels. None of those guys are to blame. We're looking into who to blame. No one knows. Anyway, and so Green Bay ranks 6th in pressure rates this season, and we all know how Jared Goff kind of folds under pressure. They're playing more man coverage to compensate for their horrible zone defense from earlier in this season. So I don't know. I don't think the Lions can push the Packers, is what I'm saying, and the Packers are content not scoring. Like the Packers are content scoring 13 points and winning. So I think this could go way under.
It sounds like what you're saying. We need the Lions to get a big early lead.
Yeah. I mean, that would be nice, but this is a bad environment for Jared Goff.
We need 10 or 14 first quarter points from the Lions, I think. But the weather shouldn't be a factor. It'll be a crisp and clear 32. It'll be under freezing, but no precipitation, not under 20 degrees. So they will be able to feel their bodies and play football in Green Bay, Wisconsin on Sunday night. So, any part of a shootout, Kyle, would probably require DeAndre Swift doing good stuff like he actually did in week 17. But I believe Justin Jackson's back practicing this week, right?
Correct.
I don't even know what my phrasing actually meant here. I said, are we in never again territory with DeAndre Swift? I don't even know what I meant. Should we cut our losses after getting one good week out of him? Or can we trust him? Because, the Packers are really, really, really bad run defense. And despite Denny's doom saying it is a good scoring environment on paper.
Yeah, I mean, maybe what you were referencing was that Justin Jackson was out, and despite that, DeAndre Swift ran her out on 40% of Jared Goff's dropbacks. He only earned a 35% snap share. It was a blowout, but they played their starters up until a final series of Niels, who maybe started still out there for that one. They played at least everyone other than Jared Goff. The receivers and the running backs were still out there for the penultimate drive they had. And even though Justin Jackson was out, they just let Craig Reynolds do the same thing. And they didn't. And the funny thing is, and this is probably some small semblance of strategy within their weird ideas, is that Craig Reynolds almost didn't run any routes. He just stayed out there to pass block. But that meant they weren't using DeAndre Swift on any of those passing plays. So per usual, they still ran a 3-back committee. It just doesn't show up in terms of touches. So this is a good spot for running backs. Like Denny said, the Packers have been dreadful against the run all year. And that's exactly what the Lions want to do to you. They want to run the football, mostly with Jamaal Williams. But as we've seen more recently, they're willing to push DeAndre Swift to a dozen or so touches. And as far as next year goes, it's a really weird situation because Jamaal Williams coming off of, was it 15 touchdowns?
Oh, I forgot that I wrote next season. Yeah. I was thinking the week 18, what does this even mean? Never again territory for week 18. I was like, why did I write this? I missed the final 2 words of my question. Next season.
Yeah, well, Jamaal Williams, a free agent. Justin Jackson, a free agent. Craig Reynolds, a free agent. They have some practice squad guy on the IR. I don't know who he is. He's not a free agent. So there's a lot of moving parts here. I have to imagine they bring other players in. But if that player is not potentially as good as Jamaal Williams, it could be a situation in which we're getting sort of Tony Pollard type of usage.
I was going to say, are we ever going to get our Tony Pollard moment with this guy? Because he's got
did we? Like, he's already kind of at the Tony Pollard spot. He's maybe a little bit below it, but I think he could be that type of player where we're always begging the coach to give him 25 carries and 10 targets in a game, and it never happens. And maybe they're right, maybe they're wrong, but that level of volume would at least result in running back 2 numbers, as it generally has with DeAndre Swift. He does strike me as a player who we will never see the full-time role, though.
He Pollarded a bit more last year than he did this year, but still not that much more.
And you'll be paying more for him in drafts. Like, Tony Pollard was drafted this year as just the best backup in the league, right? He wasn't being drafted as if he would average 15 touches a game. You're going to have to draft Swift like that. So it'll be weird. It really does depend a lot on how they spend their capital at running back, though.
Hey, it's Matthew Berry from NBC Sports and Rotoworld.com. Just want to thank you so much for watching what you just watched, or at least being too lazy to click out of it after the autoplay just kept it going. So either way, thank you so much for just letting it scroll by your screen. And now I'd like to ask you respectfully, okay? Respectfully, please subscribe to the NFL on NBC YouTube channel for the latest NFL news, fantasy headlines from Rotoworld, and betting analysis from NBC Sports Edge.